So, who recognizes the translation of these lyrics? As long as the Jewish spirit is yearning deep in the heart with eyes turned toward the east, looking toward Zion, then our hope, the 2,000-year-old hope, will not be lost. To be free people in our land, the land of Zion and Jerusalem. Just say it. Hatikva. Excellent. Yes, these are the lyrics for Israel's national anthem, written in the 19th century by Naftali Herz Imber and Samuel Cohen, both Zionists. There is a reason why these timeless lyrics of Hatikva, the hope, still resonate so deeply with so many of us, simply because we must remember and remind others of the following. Od lo avda tikvatenu, our hope, the 2,000-year-old hope, cannot and will not be lost. But as I wrote this sermon, I sensed a dilemma. On the one hand, I was born, raised, and lived for the first half of my life in Israel, as most of you know by now. I do consider myself an American Zionist Israeli. Yet on the other hand, hundreds of thousands of Israelis, my brothers, sisters, family, and friends, have been struggling with one another while getting deeper into dangerous political strife, taken to the streets everywhere in Medinat Yisrael, our land of Israel. I'm also aware that almost everyone here reads or watches the news. Many of us have families in Israel, and we are constantly updated and informed on what's happening there, which is why this sermon is not about politics. I'm not about to share an opinion, explain the governmental system in Israel, praise or denounce this, that, or the other Israeli political party. Nope. You can have your fill by checking the daily news on your phone, turning on the telly for information, or reading good old-fashioned newspapers like I do. This evening, I'd like to talk about the hope, hatikva, or the tikva. I believe this is where we need to focus our energy, now more than ever, because that is the only thing we can each do to keep our unbiased love for Israel and the Israelis who need us and need our support. Rabbi Rinat Zefania from Shoham, a town in the central district of Israel, wrote the following message on our Central Conference of American Rabbis Facebook page, and I quote Rabbi Zefania. As you know, our country is burning. It is sad and difficult. Yet the protests brought many indifferent people out of the house to show how important this country is to them. Please know that with all the difficulties, there is even a larger movement of people right here in Israel who want to continue holding hands and work together despite all of these differences. We, as Reform communities across the land, are here to hold on to hope, even when darkness seems to be falling on all of us right now. I want to respond to Rabbi Zefania and the hundreds of thousands of Israelis who live in Israel. Shamati, I heard your message, and I'm with you. I want to respond by saying that I understand and support my Am Yisrael, the people of Israel. I wholeheartedly agree that now is the time to turn to each other with this reminder. We are all in this together, all of us. Whenever one of us falls, it does affect all of us. When we all work together to create and improve our own Medina, homeland, we will survive and thrive. I firmly believe that our job as Jews and affiliates here in the United States is to support this message and all those working so hard to create an environment of togetherness of our people, achdut, shlemut, ha'am. Our Talmudic sages teach that anti-Semites destroyed the Second Temple due to sinat chinam, baseless hatred. Instead of kindness and friendship, our own people exhibited unnecessary divisiveness and spite toward each other. From that time in our history, we must learn a valuable, essential lesson, best summarized by Abraham Lincoln: a house divided against itself cannot stand. The Israeli newspaper Yediot Achronot recently published an article that made me tear up. While reading it, I thought, oh, please, God, please, I want this message to be shared daily in Israel and here in the diaspora. My heart and soul were praying hard while reading this article titled, "Eventually, we will all have to learn how to live together," written this past July by Kobi Nachshoni and Roni Shaulov. Here is the translated gist. In the most recent initiative of the anti-government parade, participants, many carrying Israeli flags, drove or walked up to Jerusalem. Many protesters have decided to stay in Jerusalem until the Israeli government chooses a different approach. Protesters erected a tent city in Gan Saker Park in the center of many religious and Haredi homes. But anyone who expected this to become dangerous, filled with clashes and bloodshed in the spirit of the season, was surprised, actually surprised, to find that instead these encounters created space for healthy conversations and the coming together of opposing viewpoints. "We didn't come here to fight, only to listen," said Yosef Goldman, a young Haredi man associated with the ultra-right wing in Israel, who came to the protest accompanied by his friends. "Everyone knows that we are on Bibi's side, and we will probably not be able to convince each other otherwise, but we are all one people. We must never repeat the same mistakes our ancient ancestors made, which led to the fall of Jerusalem and the failing of Am Israel, the people of Israel of ancient times. We all must listen, be heard, and not hate one another, even when there are severe differences of opinion. None of us want to fight our brothers and sisters. We are one people." I couldn't stop crying when I read the Orthodox Yosef Goldman's words, "Oh dear God, when will we ever learn?" Also, this past July at the Kotel, the Western Wall, thousands of people came together to pray the Tefillah Lishlemut Ha'am, a special prayer for the unity of our people, of which I'll share an excerpt with you a bit later towards the end of the sermon in about 5 hours or so, but stay put. To attend this special prayer at the Kotel, the Western Wall, many rabbis and Israelis of all denominations marched together to the Knesset, holding hands while forming one very long and awe-inspiring human chain, making me tear up even more. My heart was pounding, yearning for all Am Yisrael to listen to Shema Yisrael. Oh dear God, when will we ever learn from these Israelis and implement the same message in our beloved United States of America? In discussing the domino effect of sin, the Talmud, Shavuot 39, concludes with the Aramaic phrase, Kol Yisrael arevim ze b'zeh, meaning all of Israel are responsible for one another. And speaking of responsibility for one another, There are other forces in Israel who work diligently to bring people together, not only among Jews, but among other people, all who are tired of war while also trying to live together in that small, intense region. One such example is the inspiring Arava Institute in southern Israel. Arava Institute stands out as a point of optimism and hope for a peaceful future. Under the motto, "Nature knows no borders," Arava Institute trains future leaders in environmental issues so that they can take part in solving regional environmental problems wherever they are. For those who haven't heard about the Arava Institute, it is an environmental and academic institution dedicated to preparing future leaders from Israel, Palestine, Jordan, the United States, and other countries worldwide to jointly solve the regional and global environmental challenges of our time. Our own Brenda and Dr. David Jaffe introduced my Dave, and me to this fantastic organization. David and Brenda have been personally involved in the work of the Arava Institute for over 15 years because, like so many of us, they realized that the rarest resource in the Middle East is not water, not clean air, but trust. To me, supporting organizations such as the Arava Institute, which promotes collaboration, trust, and acknowledging differences while celebrating similarities, is a fantastic way to lead us to a peaceful dwelling, steering us away from sinat chinam, unjustifiable hatred of someone else who is different from us. So on Kol Nidre, this evening of our holiest of days, while we fast to promote a tikkun, mending, let us each realize how important every single person is to the success and safety of Medinat Yisrael. Not only to Israelis, but to those of us who live here in the diaspora as well, because od lo avda tikvatenu liyot am chofshi be'artzenu. We cannot give up on the dream to be free and united in our Medinat Israel. As hard as it is to witness the separation and demonstrations from afar, please know that many beautiful groups of people are working for a healthier, better Israel. I know and trust that the Israelis will be able to climb out of the pit they got themselves into. There must be a reason for these challenging pitfalls, and I trust in Borei Olam, the creator of our world, that these struggles are for a good reason. And now is not the time to abandon our brothers and sisters in Israel who need our friendship and solidarity now more than ever. And what does supporting Israel and Israelis mean? Let us each refrain from denouncing or putting down Israel in public. Let us continue to support organizations whose message is about helping and building rather than dividing or destroying. Organizations include Magen David Adom, the Israeli Red Cross, the Arava Institute, the Jewish National Fund, Israel Bonds, and many, many more. Another good example, when we go to Israel on October 18th, and we have 18 people in our group at Double Chai, we will financially support the Israeli economy. You can also support the Israeli economy from here. Look at Israeli products on Amazon, for example. There are tons of beautiful and yummy products. I also invite you to consider joining us for our next trip, a family tour in Israel for the summer of 2025. Please reach out to our own Terry Wiener and ask her about it. As I mentioned earlier, please allow me to leave you with an excerpt from that special prayer that was uttered by those thousands of people who showed up to hold hands, create a human chain, and join in tefillah, prayer for Shlemut Ha'am, for the unity of our people. O God, channel our hearts to pulsate love and empathy rather than emit hatred and apathy. Please focus our eyes so we can see the endless potential in people's divine souls rather than the limits of their physical bodies. Tune our voices so we can speak words and sing songs of unity and empowerment and hope rather than ones of discord and division. Guide our hands and feet to become your instruments of kindness and peace rather than tools of cruelty and destructiveness. We pray to you, O God, that we merit to witness the fulfillment of our ancestors' vision. Odlo avda tikvatenu, our hope, the 2,000-year-old hope, will not be lost. To be free people in our land, the land of Zion and Jerusalem.